I decided that I would make a video tonight. It's 9:30 and it's October the 8th, 2015. I can't really stop I've been keeping a diary for so long that when I make these videos, it's kind of like an extension of my diary, telling the date and the time. And it's just a habit of mine. I always think in those terms. And so I wanted to make a video. I've been kind of sick with a sore throat and a cold, but I want to get these books off my main study desk. First of all, what I've been reading the last couple of days in my sickness is Exile in Paris, Richard Wright, James Baldwin, Samuel Beckett, and Others on the Left Bank by James Campbell. I've been reading that last couple of days. And I got this book in the mail today, and I've been reading this today, Love and Death in the American Novel by Leslie A. Fielder. I came across this book on the internet. I read blogs about people who read a lot and talk about books, and one of my people that I read, he mentioned this book, and I bought it because I like reading about American literature since I'm an American. So going into the books, I did visit thrift stores this week, and I found Arthur Kistler's The Darkness at Noon. I have a lot of books by him, but for some reason this one of the most famous books I didn't have in my collection of his writings. And I also found this book as a memoir by William Finnis, The Music Room. I found this, I mentioned that I found his other book, The Snow Geese, A Story of Home by the same author, a couple of weeks ago at a thrift store. So I collect memoirs, diaries, letters, and they looked really interesting, so I bought them. I also found a book called Sweet and Glorious Land, Revisiting the Iona Sea by John Kingley. The reason why I got this book is that he's revisiting this book, the writer who wrote this book, which is By the Iona Sea by George Gissling. Gissling was a Victorian writer, a travel writer, and he visits the Iona Sea, Greece, and ancient sites in Greece. And this guy follows this book in his travels and writes about what he sees in the modern time. This was written over 100 years ago, this one by Gissling. So that's why I got this book. I also found a novel by Paul West. I never read anything by Paul West, but why I got this is that it's a novel it's like an autobiographical novel based on his relationship with the writer and naturalist. Her name is Diana Ackerman, and I collect the writings of Diana Ackerman, and it looked interesting, and it was only $1.50. So, and he's written a lot of books. I was really surprised how many books this fellow has written, this Paul West. So maybe I'll get around to reading it. I also found this book by Chris Hedges. Chris Hedges is one of I really like he's like a journalist, a commentator, and he wrote this book called American Fascists, the Right Wing, and the War on America. And I like Chris Hedges, and he has a lot of videos on YouTube. Check him out, Chris Hedges. I also found this book called Absolute Monarchs, A History of the Papacy by John Julius Norwick. I have in my library his memoir by John Julius Norwick, Trying to Please. John Julius Norwick is a British historian. He's written all kinds of books on the Byzantine, the early centuries, the Middle Sea, history of Venice, Shakespeare's Kings. This one really intrigues me, Mount Athos, which is the center of Eastern Orthodox spirituality, on a Greek island, off the island of Greece. And so I found this book, the History of the Papacy, Absolute Monarchs. And I found these 4 volumes in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, or it's a trilogy, I'm not sure. But I found The Return of the Kings by Tolkien, The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien, The Fellowship of the Rings by him, Tolkien, and The Hobbit. I did read The Hobbit about 37 years ago, just when our first son Caleb was born. I read this, but I haven't read these, and I just got them to have in the house when our grandchildren grow up, that they'll be here for them to read if they want. So that's the books I've got, and I'm still reading. I haven't really read my Christian books this week. Because I've been sick and not feeling well. So there's not really much else to talk about. Today's a Thursday, tomorrow's a Friday. I volunteer at the library Book Nook, used bookstore, Saturday. Maybe I'll find something. Besides that, there's not much else to say. I am enjoying this book here, Love and Death in the American Novel, and Leslie Fielder, and I also enjoying reading this one, Exile in Paris. I read a lot of books on the literary movement in Paris from the 1900s up until the 1960s, so I'm really enjoying reading this. So besides that, not much else to report, so until maybe I'll make a video Sunday, I don't know, see how I feel. Well, goodbye.